welcome back to another short Saturday live YouTube. This is this is the channel that I increasingly don't use. So for those who enjoy my content, this is not really the place you should be. If you want to get my good stuff, go over to Rumble, go to BitChute, go to Odyssey, go to any of the other platforms, go to the podcast channel, go anywhere but here. And yet, here you are. Uh, okay, folks, so I wanted to just have a quick catch up with you, as is my want on a Saturday. So I suppose a couple of things. I'm just sitting here, as you see, I'm out and about, and on a wet Saturday day, a Saturday early afternoon, and it's always so touching to watch the people get out of their cars, put their masks on, and trot into the big shopping stores. It's so touching to see them. They've been so well trained. It's a remarkable act of psychological um, nudging, if you like, that so many people actually do this, but they all do. And yes, Simon, thanks very much. I will try to keep watch out for the sheep, bah, because my God, there are so many of them here. I've been saying this for over a year now, but it still astounds me how so many people have decided that this is what they have to do. They've learned their little COVID rituals, and they go with their little COVID rituals. But hey, listen, we have to remember we're on YouTube and we're not allowed to question these things. That's what's so good about YouTube, you see. YouTube is increasing the must go destination place for those who don't want to question anything. You say, this is so important, and congratulations to YouTube for doing it. I think the last time I spoke with you, YouTube had declared that anybody questioning approved vaccines for any reason, anywhere, was going to get a strike, if not removed from the platform. Now, I completely agreed with this. I mean, the only way we're going to sort things out is if we absolutely crush free speech. And it's really nice to see YouTube taking the lead. But that was a week ago. And look what's happened in the past week. YouTube has come out and told us, hey, listen, you better not question the climate change narrative. And if you do, well, we're going to demonetize you. And there might be other consequences as well. So let me see then. So we're not allowed to question the November 2020 election. We're not allowed to question the uh, vaccine issue. We're not allowed to question climate change. And this is good news. This is why YouTube is such a trusted platform. Only YouTube recognizes that by taking away our right to speak freely, this will create the ideal environment that we can feel safe in. I certainly feel safe in an environment where nobody would ever question me and where no one would ever challenge me. And if they do, they'd simply be struck down. This is the YouTube bubble. It's lovely, isn't it? It makes me feel so happy being on YouTube, knowing that no one is gonna be, oh, Simon, you can't say those things. Hi, Jed. You can't say things like that. Climate change is real, and all vaccines work, no matter what the bad people say. And yes, Joe Biden is the most legitimate president in the history of presidents. So this is certainly, anyway, in the world of YouTube. Now, if you've got issues with those things, and I do, then the thing to do is get the hell off YouTube, get onto Rumble, get onto Odyssey, get onto the podcast channel, get onto, yes, Jed. Yeah, actually, Simon brings up the Brandon. Go Brandon. Let's go Brandon. Isn't that it? I covered this on my podcast. I hope you enjoyed the Hard Truth podcast, which we put out the other evening with Alana Mercer. And I did bring up the fact that this guy Brandon seems really popular, because wherever Joe Biden goes in the States, people are chanting in large numbers, "Let's go Brandon," except not in those words. And of course, the media try to cover up the actual reality of it, which is F Joe Biden. And that's to be clear what people are chanting. And but the media translate that as "Let's go, Brandon." And he's the most popular guy there's ever been. 81 million people have voted for the potato in the White House. 81 million people can't be wrong. Mind you, well, I could say other things, but I can't because I'm on YouTube and we have to go with it. Yes, Joe Biden, you are the people's hero. Yes, vaccine manufacturers, you are the people's hero. Yes, climate change lunatics, you are our heroes. You set the agenda, and YouTube reinforces us, and Facebook reinforces it, and Twitter reinforces us, and to hell with a lot of them. I'm afraid the value in platforms that don't allow debate should make everybody think twice about being on such platforms, but anyway, there we are. In the space of a week, last week it was YouTube clamping down on vaccine questioning, and this week it's YouTube. Yeah, on climate change. Actually, Simon, I do need to develop my Telegram channel. My Telegram channel. I'm so busy on so much of the other stuff that I forget about it. Is the truth of the matter, and I need to do stuff because Telegram is a really good platform. And I think when the first Facebook outage happened, I think I read that there was an 81 million new people came on to Telegram, which is great. And that's what I'd like to see. I also see, by the way, I hope you follow me over on GETTR, GETTR, GETTR channel. It's quite a good channel, and it's just in the final stages of rolling out live streaming. So if you remember me back in my Twitter days, before my Twitter death, I used to do periscopes and stuff on Twitter, which people seem to like. Um, that technology is now available on GETTR, or it's about to be made available. So I hope to be doing active live streams from there, going out, and hopefully you'll be part of that as well. So, I have great confidence in alternative technology or new technology to counter the bombastic hatred of the Silicon Valley tyrannies. So that's where I'm putting all my confidence. And we have it. I mean, we've got Gab. Gab's a wonderful platform. Gab TV's great platform. These are platforms I'm comfortable with, and I see people, still on Twitter, and they're still doing their best on Twitter. But ultimately, I don't think Twitter or Facebook or YouTube want people like me. In fact, they definitely don't want people like me, but they probably don't want people like you either. If you're a critical thinker, you are a problem. And so, one by one, I mean, they're going to close down the things that you can talk about. Um, Yes, Simon, you can do live talk and live videos, and I know I need to be able to do that. Evola's sunglasses says everyone should get on Telegram. I do have a Telegram channel, so maybe if you're watching this, do type David Vance, and you'll see me over on Telegram. But I'm not as active on it as I should be, and I need to get better on it. I guess the problem is, you see, that this is the one of the big changes that's happened. I guess it used to be you only needed to be on Twitter and YouTube probably, and that was enough to conquer the world. But because these two platforms are so toxic, you can't be on them and hope to do proper conversations and stuff. So instead, I think, as Jed's pointing out, I've diversified, thanks to the help of Jed, onto so many different platforms now, and I do find it interesting to try new things. So I'm not so old that I don't like to try things that are new. And I hope that when GETTR live stream gets going, then that'll be another forum to talk about things to people. I've also started to become a lot more active over in Minds, by the way, if anybody's on Minds. So there's been a proliferation of, I guess, new platforms. I like them. Now, it's frustrating because you don't have one big platform that does everything. But hey, I tell you what, if you have one big platform that does everything, then they can hold you hostage. They can make you reliant on doing the things that they want. Like this platform, YouTube. YouTube knows exactly what it's doing. And we know what YouTube is doing as well. And that's why I am barely here now. I consider it to be a waste of my time actually putting out substantive content on YouTube. In the main, not to say I won't put some stuff out on it, but it's a one-way street. The day will come when I used to like following you on Twitter, David. I used to think, why is this the only guy who sees the obvious? Thanks, Ian. I mean, yeah, a lot of people enjoyed my Twitter. I enjoyed my Twitter. I had fun. I had a ball. Um, but in the background, I was getting so much hatred coming back. You wouldn't believe it. So many threats coming back to me that the police weren't interested in dealing with. I had to take so much crap on Twitter. You wouldn't believe it, guys. Um, and so not being on it is, hi, Miss L, you're late to the party, but you're always welcome. Yeah, so I don't miss being on Twitter. Honestly, people think, oh, what a blow he took over Twitter. He honestly didn't. It saved me having to endure so much vile. There were so many lovely people on Twitter, to be fair, but there was a large tail of what I would call feral leftists who were very hateful towards me personally in all kinds of ways that I can't go into. So I don't miss that. I see Twitter and indeed this channel and Facebook as they have basically exceeded their sell by date, and it's only a matter of time, as I say, to others move elsewhere. One of the things that would enormously help is, yes, I agree with you, Simon, 100%. Simon Knight, I am in 100% agreement in what you just said. If Donald Trump would get on one of these other platforms, that would be significant. I think he's gone. Oh, Tom says, how did democracy leave us in a situation where we've got a clown like Boris Johnson? Well, I've actually done a podcast. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but my argument is for today, if you listen to the podcast channel, make sure you sign up to the podcast channel. I think we don't live in a democracy, Tom. We live in a pharmocracy. Pharmocracy. Pharmocracy, where I believe the things that are controlling us are no longer the things that we think, that we have historically believed. So to get the insight on that, you've got to go to the podcast channel, because YouTube wouldn't like it if I talked about it. No, they'd be cross. Susan Wojcicki, whatever she's called. She's got the woman with the hardest name in the world to pronounce. The CEO of YouTube would probably have a policy against me talking about it. Yeah, Simon, yep. Again, you're saying, I mean, this is a good one. Of the good things is that, one of the problems with a lot of these kind of platforms and the views that we hear, we're all made to think that we're freaks because we're not following the narrative. But the reality is, as Simon just said, a lot of people will think that. And a lot of people have been red pilled over the last, let's be honest, over the last, 18 months. I mean, COVID in a way has been a mass awakening for a lot of people. People asking lots of questions about organizations that they didn't ask questions about. Some of the most trusted institutions we've had. Let's rattle through a few of them. Our doctors, our health service. Does anyone have confidence? Hi, Shalini. Nice to see you on the stream. Does anyone have confidence, in the same confidence in the good old what the doc tells you in October 2021 compared to February 2020? I don't think so. Who has confidence in Boris Johnson apart from a raving lunatic? Who has confidence in institutions like our intelligence services apart from an absolute lunatic? No, no. We have been red pill, folks, by this thrust to move society into a new space. And even though certain platforms, someone says, how's your weather today, David? It's gorgeous here in London. Well, here's the clue, Shalini. I've got a raincoat on. So if I'm wearing a raincoat, I think that's possibly because it's miserable here. That's so. Thanks, Tigo Cardania. Thanks for your videos. What's all this madness heading? Where's the end game? Where's the end game? Well, the end game is, I think, what I've done a podcast on this morning, which you should. Hi, Steve. No, well, Stephen, you won't find me much here because I can't talk about anything here. That's frankly, YouTube doesn't allow me to question the vaccines. YouTube doesn't allow me to question climate change. YouTube doesn't allow me to change anything. Hey, Miss L, you're making me jealous. You're getting lovely weather in Kent. Shalini's getting lovely weather in London. I'm getting grey, miserable clouds. Um, it must be God's judgment upon me, actually. Today's judge democracy is where we elect puppets and the unelected government that's always in power pull their strings. Exactly. Yes, Stephen, I'm actually using Rumble a lot more. There's a lot more content going out, thanks to my producer Jed over on Rumble. Just as Jed said there. In fact, actually, Scotland, good for Scotland. It's pouring over in Scotland as well. Yeah, yeah. Actually, Ian, what happens is the weather crosses from Ireland, crosses the island of Ireland, and it hits Scotland. So I always think we take the bullet for you Scottish guys, and then you people down in the southeast of England, you avoid. I mean, you should be sending us some kinds of climate compensation. uh, Shame I was home in Fermanagh a few weeks back and the weather was nice. Hey, that's an unusual thing. I've been in Fermanagh many times and I've never managed to get to Fermanagh when it wasn't raining. A beautiful day in Oz for a beating. Oh well, it's always a beautiful day in Oz for a beating. Sad thing about Australia is, again, we can't talk about this really on YouTube, but we see the absolute state into which New South Wales has fallen, and it is shocking, isn't it? I never thought Australia would become a penal colony again, having started its life to a degree as a penal colony. And I think Australians are fine people, but oh, we're getting a real whiz. Susan says it's a beautiful day in East Yorkshire. Hey, Susan, well, my Scottish friends here on the channel and myself seem to be getting all the rain, so it's miserable with us. Um, we will be next after Australia. Stephen, what the reality is that Australia is the beta test case. If they can get away with it in Australia, they will implement it here. And by the way, I think I'm allowed to say this on YouTube without them giving me issues. I believe that Boris will definitely implement Plan B. Do not believe that. Oh, hi, Dave Barker. Good to see you on the stream. Thanks very much for your support, Dave, over on the podcast channel. Um, but I believe we're going to Plan B in the UK, mandatory masks, COVID passports, all of that stuff, probably in November, December, January. Plan B is Plan A, absolutely. I'm glad you guys agree. I mean, I don't believe for one moment that this government intends to run with Plan A. It's just a matter of timing. Watch what happens. These are the things that, of course, I can. Oh, someone says, lovely morning in the southwest. Are things an old blighty just like the weather, the calm before the storm? Yeah, yeah, you guys, it's great actually. You guys all say it the same, don't you? We all agree that that Boris is only one plan, Plan B, which is more restrictions, more COVID passports. That's the plan, and he's just timing it when he does it. And you will see the manipulation. I hope not, as I'm not vaxxed. Hey, a lot of us are in that category, not being vaxxed. I did a podcast on this yesterday. 2 million people in England alone over the age of 50 are not vaccinated. 2 million people. And hey, YouTube, that's just a statistic, right? So, Tim, it's a lot of people have decided not to take the, you know what, even though it's super duper safe. Let there be no doubt about it. It's the most safest thing there's ever been, along with every other vaccine in the history of the world. So, yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, actually, can I just do a quick sample with you folks? Because I see Dave Barker makes a reference to pure blood, right? So I was thinking of getting some pure blood, like T-shirts or sweatshirts or whatever made up. If I got those made up, would anybody be interested in actually? Yeah, Susan's got it. Yeah, yeah. Would anyone be interested, or maybe a hat? I don't know, or a mug, something that says pure blood on it? Because we are the pure bloods. Let's be clear about it, and we're not going to be demonized, and we're not going to be. Oh, thanks, Dave. Yeah, I was thinking of getting something like that done because it's a lovely expression. Look, yeah, I see you're all buying into it. Yeah, yeah. You see, it's one of my biggest things I go on about the most. The use of words. Words are so important. How words, the way in which a word is constructed has such a big. Yeah, there's another. Jed's another pure blood. Yeah, I think we're in a big bunch of pure bloods here. YouTube won't be happy about that. Oh my God, we've got pure bloods on the YouTube. What about? Yeah, yeah, great, brilliant. I'm loving the fact that you're all pure bloods and you all get it because you see they like to define us as unvaxxed. The issue here is that unvaxxed indicates that you're in a state that you want to get out of. That's okay, Jed. You go shopping. I have to go shopping here as well. Um, the use of the word unvaccinated kind of denigrates us. Maybe a pure blood badge, yeah, something like that, Susan. Maybe I need to think about this um, because yeah, actually, Dave, can you do that, folks? Hit the like button if you're watching this, so that this this helps me maintain something on YouTube. I mean, they obviously want to completely drown me in anonymity, but if you could hit the like button, that's really thank you, Dave, for that really helpful and kind suggestion. But yeah, I think I'll maybe get something if I can get something done up. Pure blood. Have a little badge you can when you're out and about. Pure blood because it's going to confuse the plebs and it's going to annoy those people who know. So it seems a good thing to do. So there you go. That's an opportunity I think I might have to have a look at. Pure bloods of the world unite. What have we got to lose but our bodily autonomy and sovereignty? So look, folks, there you have it. That's oh, thanks. I've seen all the likes buttons suddenly jumping up there. Thanks everyone who hit the likes, the thumbs up button. Um, so I'm just yeah, absolutely, Peter Gregory, make 1984 fiction again. The reality is that we're actually heading into something every bit as bad as Orwell imagined back in 1947. Um, and I think even arguably worse than 1984. The world, this dystopian hell into which we are being driven. And as I say, I've put out, there's a lot of good content on the podcast channel that'll come out later today. You'll be able to listen to it over the next 5 or 6 hours on a lot of this stuff. It's really wicked, the stuff that's going on. And yes, Stephen, you are right. They do want what you say. And yes, Salini, they do want those things as well. But Danger is Danger Drone, it's me. You're right. Ultimately, this comes down to one thing and one thing only: compliance. If you don't comply, they can't make you do it. Um, that's just the reality. Non-compliance will carry all kinds of penalties. People are losing their jobs because they haven't complied. People are being alienated because they haven't complied. People are losing their social media channels because they haven't complied. But we have to be strong. And I think at this point, folks, if you've stayed with me throughout all of this, and you're pure blood, and you know you guys understand everything that's going on clearly, you're very highly informed. Actually, that's one of the things that annoys me the most. They suggest, oh, the people that haven't taken the jibby jab, they're kind of ignorant people. They don't really get things. They don't really understand stuff. They're conspiracy theorists. No, in my experience, the people who have decided, for whatever reason, not to go down those routes have thought about things, have become incredibly well educated and informed, and they know exactly what they're doing. So, Dave Barker, acquiescence is their weapon of choice. Just get you to acquiesce, but they also coercion is their weapon of choice as well. So they want to force people to do this stuff. That's the other way around. And Shalini is right. Yeah, again, one of those things is that one of the problems is that I see your comments. If I say these comments out loud, I will be given a strike by YouTube. That's why I despise this channel. Miss L, you're absolutely right. Knowledge is power. And the good thing is that because of the alternative platforms, which I would like you to make sure you follow me on, as well as this one, we can get real knowledge out there, and loads of people are putting it out. And if you're on Telegram, I'm sure you're seeing all kinds of stuff, and it's good. And Yeah, care home staff without. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, they're coming. I don't know if you noticed it at the Conservative Party conference, but it's perfectly obvious to me that the Health Secretary Sajid Javid is going to come for the. So he's going to come for all the NHS workers. They're going to have to be jibby jabbed, or else that's it. They lose their jobs. I think that's an inevitable thing. So. And yeah, great comments there. Only if you use knowledge and pass it on. That's true. That is true. Absolutely right. Um, and we have to pass it on. And the way we do that, I think, is by these kind of platforms, you know. So listen, folks, I want to thank you all. I'm going to have to make tracks here, things to do before the next deluge of rain. Simon Knight says the truth is in Telegram. It is. It's also on my podcasts. It's on BitChute. It's on Rumble. It's on Odyssey, it's on Gab, it's on lots of places, but it's not to be located on Silicon Valley platforms. So look, folks, you all have a lovely Saturday. Those of you down in Kent and down in London, you're probably lying out in the sun enjoying it all. Just think of me here with my raincoat on, about to risk getting soaked, and I will hope to see you soon. But do make sure you check out my podcast today. There's a really good one, I think, on formocracy. Formocracy. That's the thing I wanted to talk about most. Go and check that one out. And thanks for all your brilliant comments. You honestly, I wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for you folks. And so it's such a pleasure to see all your comments and to speak with you in this short way. Thank you so much for your time. Catch you all over on the other platforms. Bye from me.